So we pulled into Lone Rock Primitive Camping on the beach of Lake Powell, which is awesome. We'll show that to you in a minute. But we're here in very early March and the faucets are still winterized. So we have to go 19 minutes down the road into Page, Arizona to go get some fresh water before we get set up. So yeah, if you come here this time of year, think about that and check to make sure the faucets are on before you pull in. And if not, then might as well get your water before you come in. But this place is really cool. It's $14 a night. There's no hookups, it's just camping on the beach. But it's $14 a night, plus you have to pay to get in, being a national park or national monument. With the Parks Pass like we have, we don't have to pay to get in, which is good, so it's only $14 a night. Other than that, I think it's $25 or $30 now for a week, so that's what it costs you to get in here. But it is really cool. It's kind of a cool opportunity to camp among this beauty. So we're gonna go get some water and get set up, spend a week or two here. So in our trip to get water, instead of going down the Page, there's this little Phillips, nope, it's a 76. Is that a 70 Phillips? I don't know. There's a little gas station on the way to Page, and it's just outside the park entrance. So I swung through to ask them if they had any water, and they do. So it's $5 for 50 gallons, or $1 every 10 gallons. So you can use their water spigot on the outside of the gas station. So if you're like me and you're driving a diesel and it's going to cost you more than that just to go get water in Page, 20 minutes away, 40-minute round trip, it's definitely worth paying $5 to fill up a 50-gallon tank. Wind has been a theme on our journey so far for the past 6 months. Today is no exception. Last night we were rocking and rolling like crazy. We're at Lone Rock Primitive Camping here at Lake Powell, and we almost have the beach to ourselves. You can see there's this guy just pulled in today. There's somebody down there. Cars come out to see Lone Rock, but there's only a few RVs out here. But you can see the sand blowing out on the beach down there. The wind is actually pretty calm right now. Earlier today it was just like a big sandstorm just blowing across. You couldn't even see that RV all the way at the back. It was crazy. So yeah, it's been quite a windy day. But the rest of the week's been great. It's been calm, been beautiful. It's the quietest place that we've camped at yet. So we think we might actually stay here for 2 weeks, just because we like it so much. We'll see how the weekend goes and decide then. But it's $14 to camp here. It's dry camping. There's no bathrooms open this time of year, so it's completely on your own. But if you got a Parks Pass, you can come in, pay $14, and have the beach just about to yourself. It'd be nice if it was a little bit warmer. We could get some kayaks or something. Usually the water out there is calm. It's like a mirror. Today, not so much. If you can see out there, that one that's closest to the camera is our rig. And then some people set up a little bit closer to the water, but I'm not that brave. The last 2 days, it was pretty crazy windy here. We stayed holed up inside the RV. It was rocking and rolling. In fact, it was so bad we even put the truck in front of the RV to try to break up some of the wind. But it's been fun. We think we're going to do 2 weeks here. We're going to see when the weekend rolls around, see how busy it gets. But it's been so nice and relaxing and peaceful here. Very few people this time of year. So I don't know if you're traveling through this part. This is just north of Page, Arizona. In fact, we're just barely over the Utah border from Arizona. Consider it a good stop. There's a lot of people coming in here and taking their Instagram photos with Lone Rock back there. It's definitely a good stopover. We're just down the road from the Glen Canyon Dam. We're going to go check that out tomorrow and see what that looks like. And it's kind of a crazy experience to be here on Lake Powell. It used to be one big, beautiful canyon, Glen Canyon, and it was dammed up and flooded to contain water for the northern states, so it didn't all go down the Colorado River. So definitely some hard feelings from some about that. We're going to stay out of that and just enjoy the beauty, whatever the beauty is for now. Megan, you got dirty paws? Did you get dirty paws? That's disgusting.
Remember, before the dam was here, there was absolutely nothing here. It was a big giant wilderness area. No highway, no bridge, no town of Page, literally nothing here before the dam. We've got 8 generators down at the bottom. That means there's 8 of these turbines. Each turbine powers one generator. So this turbine sits directly below the generator. Turbine's down here, the generator's up above it, and they're connected by a great big drive shaft. So as the turbines, the number 1 generator is closest to the window right here. It's being replaced right now. Number 8 would be at the far end of the building. The big red, orange, round thing right here in front of us, that's the new rotor that's going to go back in. The dam's much thicker down at the bottom than it is at the top. The top of the dam's 25 feet thick, about 8 meters thick at the top. Down here at this level, we're 300 feet thick down here, about 90 meters thick down here at the bottom.
That was cool. I love learning about dams. It was a damn good tour. There's Glen Canyon Dam. So one of the things I didn't know is Glen Canyon Dam was actually built to retain the water, and that the power generation was secondary to the water retainment. The water is held back for the upper basin, so the upper states to be able to use, and then they deliver, what they say, 75 million acre feet in 10 years. That's their guarantee to deliver down to the lower basin. So is there a way of splitting up the water that flows down the Colorado River so it didn't all drain down south and just be used by the lower states? So it was a really cool tour. As we say, always take the tour. We had a lot of fun doing that one. The guy was very informative. One more shot at the dam. And actually, this is a pretty big dam. The Hoover Dam, which is a large dam, is only about 15 feet taller than this dam, so to put it in perspective, it's actually good size. So as we've said, RV life isn't always easy. There are hard times we run into. We have plenty of those, but sometimes waking up on a Saturday morning with a cup of coffee and a view of something like Lake Powell certainly makes it all worth it. That we can't complain about. So today we're going to go down to Horseshoe Bend and check that out. And actually Horseshoe Bend these days you have to take a shuttle into, like everything else is getting to.
Yes, it's so busy. I think they're having some construction too, but yeah. Yeah,
they're constructing the parking lot, so they're trying to keep people out of there. But we even have to pay to get on a shuttle to go to Horseshoe Bend. But it's minimal. It's not $150.
No.
So anyway, we'll go check that out and enjoy the rest of our time at Lake Powell. We decided we're going to do a second week here just because we love it. It's so quiet.
It's the best camp spot ever.
Yeah, how do you beat that view?
Yeah.
I'm going to show it to you again. That's Lone Rock out there. A very peaceful, calm water. So Lone Rock, if you come to Lake Powell and you have an RV or a tent or whatever, definitely check it out for camping. It's inexpensive, peaceful, worth it.
Lovely.
So honey, where are we going?
To Hagrid.
Why are you walking to Hagrid, honey?
I have gotten stuck in some sea and
In what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. In
some nature.
you got stuck in nature.
I got stuck in nature.
Why were you driving in nature? You were heading to the store to get groceries and stuff.
And Starbucks. Because there was a road and I thought, what a good idea. Let's see where that goes.
Can you not be trusted with the keys to the vehicle after this?
Evidently, I can't be trusted with the keys to the vehicle.
So, if you can see, you can't, but if you could see our camper, it's way down there, like the last little speck in the middle of the lens. Jen drove all the way out here, up over this next ridge. We have yet to arrive at Hagrid to see if we can't get him unstuck from nature. What did you do?
I down.
Well, we've cleared the ridge and found Hagrid. Hagrid's sitting out there looking at that beautiful view, waiting for somebody to come unstuck him from nature.
Now it's raining.
We were having adventure. This trip is about adventure, so we just found some. Sometimes you don't have to look very far.
Jen just makes adventure when she can't find it.
And it's raining. And it's a storm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, did we mention it's raining? Of course. First of all, when you're trying to unstuck from nature, you want to straighten your wheels out.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get you to do.
And the hubs are unlocked.
Well, we tried it both ways. But they might have been... He's never explained the hub thing to me. I had a Toyota 4Runner once that had those, but I only ever needed it in the snow. I haven't driven Hagrid in the snow yet.
Watch him just drive it back to the RV and leave us here.
I hate him right now.
What's wrong?
He's leaving us.
He's leaving us. He's leaving us here. What's wrong, Mommy?
Shame, Mama, shame. I
didn't take that
want
long.
to break the car more. I didn't want the holes to get bigger. He might come back for us.
He's coming.
We had to walk a really long way.
Watch him get stuck again.
Well, that was definitely less exciting than it could have been. I was hoping for a little bit more work to unstuck Hagrid from nature. But maybe Jen's learned a few things here on how to get a vehicle out.
Look how deep the holes are.
It was never really four-wheel drive, I think. Well, so this is what happens when you get the truck stuck in nature. You hand the keys over to the 14-year-old.
Who almost hits a stop sign.
So he can drive it home.
Break.
He's the one that got us stuck.
No. Stop. I don't trust you.
Just
Yet.
First time out. Okay, brake all the way and put it in the park.
Yay. All right. So, can I trust you to take the truck directly to the grocery store and nowhere else? I feel like this is a conversation I'm going to have
With all
in
of
a
us?
year or two.
I think from here on out, he's going to be a lot happier when I say, I'm just off to Starbucks.
Yeah. Is Starbucks on pavement?
Paved all the way.
It wasn't that bad. She did the right thing by stopping to make sure she didn't get it buried even more, so it was fine. But it's a beautiful place to get a truck unstuck.
I did feel like it was just spinning the tires and it was just going to dig us lower, and I didn't want to do that because then I would have been in more trouble than I already was.
All right, off to the grocery store. I'll go back to work. Shuttle parking for Horseshoe Bend because they had the parking lot closed off. So we get to get on a 15-minute shuttle, take a ride. Get on the bus, Gus.
Everyone knows the best rows in the back seat of the bus, so when you go over the bumps, boom, boom, boom.
And everyone else knows that when you're on the backseat of the bus, you're the last one off. And you have an entire crowd in front of you when you go to Horseshoe Bend.
That's okay. I didn't know there was a bathroom.
We're in the potty seats. We made it to Horseshoe Bend with a whole bunch of other people. It was worth it. It actually cost us $20 just to get a shuttle to come out here instead of parking for free. Although it looks like they're probably going to have you pay to park when they get the lot done. But yeah, this was cool. Definitely worth it. We're going to skip Antelope Canyon because it's going to cost like $230 for the family of 4 to get in there because you have to do a tour. That's the only way to do Antelope Canyon. We were a little bit surprised to find that out.
And you gotta book 6 months in advance.
And you got to book 6 months in advance.
Ish.
But we're not going to do that. Unfortunately, we're going to miss Antelope Canyon, but we did get to see Horseshoe Bend. Going on a hike to Hanging Gardens. This is right next to the dam. I didn't say a bad word.
You did.
And it's a short hike because we just went to a barbecue restaurant for lunch. We're all stuffed. So we're just doing a short hike to wear it all off. This is where we're going. The dam is right there. And we're gonna go up there and overlook Lake Powell. We're going to see some, what are they called? Maiden ferns? Maiden ferns? I don't know, something like that.
And smooth Easter egg rocks.
Smooth Easter egg rocks. So after Horseshoe Bend, we went out to have some lunch, and I convinced the family to go to a barbecue place, which doesn't happen too often. But unfortunately, that barbecue place gave us full bellies and gave one of us a beer. And we wanted to do a hike, but not much of a hike because of that. So we found a little one in town. It's actually between the dam and Page, and it's called Hanging Garden Hike. This one is actually just east of the dam, very accessible and fairly short. I think it's a mile and a half. Anyway, we came back in here, and I think our waitress was telling us that these are called maidenhair ferns, which is kind of cool. So that makes up the end of the trail. So check this out, pretty cool. It's a lot of slick rock hiking, kind of like you would have in Moab. down by Lee's Ferry. We're checking out the fishing on the Colorado River, which is rushing quite a bit right now.
Will be more in a couple weeks, I bet.
Yeah, definitely. When all that snow starts to melt that just hit Colorado. Gorgeous. What a gorgeous day to be hanging out here. We wanted to go see the marble, like Coyote Canyon, that kind of stuff, but we didn't realize that you had to get backcountry permits and actually hike back in there. We didn't really do our research on that one. Would have been nice to see, but we're not doing that this trip. Maybe when we get older, we'll do backpacking.
There's a few things that go on the next time list.
You got to leave some to-do lists or to-do items, right?
Otherwise, what are you going to do with,
right,
your empty nest years?
Plus, the kids have to have a few to-do things that they didn't cover with mom and dad.
Have to. I don't believe in showing them everything. I want them to choose to go have some adventures on their own when they get older.
Yeah, so we'll go check out those cool formations maybe when we're 65.
Yeah. No, 55.
55? Yeah. Maybe. In 1870, John Lee came here to this area to set up basically a ferry crossing. It was one of the few areas of the Colorado River in this vicinity that you could get across. So he wanted to set up one of the only ferry operations around. But he was also running from the law because he was apparently involved in an 1857 massacre of a non-Mormon wagon train, and it killed about 120 people with some Native Americans assisting him. So anyway, the law was looking for him, and he figured he would come out into this wilderness and hide out and run himself a ferry operation. So this area is very well known and very popular because it also is the designation point or the delineation point between the upper basin and the lower basin of the Colorado River. So everything beyond or south of this area is considered a lower basin, and when you're up at Glen Canyon Dam, that water being held back in Lake Powell is what is promised to the lower basin, everything south of here. That was 75 million acre feet of water in a given 10 years. So I can understand why one would come here to hang out and hide from the law. It's pretty desolate, but it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So these boilers were used for a mining operation that was happening at Lee's Ferry, and they would have a paddle boat that came up river with coal to deliver the coal to this boiler for mining operations out in those hills. I guess it wasn't a very successful mining operation, but they tried to mine gold up here as well. The buildings here were actually part of a fort that they put up because they had a conflict between the Navajo Indians and the settlers. And because of that, they established a fort, but it was never attacked, so no issues came of it. But that's why the buildings are here.